back to the Bottom Line Podcast where we talk all things NBA basketball. We got a lot to talk about today, seeing as we have not recorded in a while. So, a lot of news going on, a lot of games, awards, news as far as coaches being fired, NBA players getting injured, COVID protocols, playoff talk, all that good stuff. So, um, let's get right into it, though. Let's get right into it. Um, we'll talk about the playoffs first. We'll talk about the playoffs first because those are going on right now. And as of right now, one team is currently booked their place in the conference finals, and that is the Phoenix Suns. So let's talk about the Phoenix Suns and their impressive play so far. Unfortunately for them, though, Chris Paul has been diagnosed with COVID protocols. He's been actually diagnosed with COVID itself. He's tested positive for the virus, and he is out indefinitely. We don't know the timetable, so that is a big blow for them if they play game one without him. But um, other than that, the Suns team has been really impressive, and I think that they've just been, they haven't really played with their food. They've been taking care of business. I'm happy they didn't let the Nuggets series. I'm happy they didn't let that one go past four. They finished off the Nuggets as fast as they can, and that's what you have to do with a team like that. It just builds your confidence. You get more rest now. Hopefully, Chris Paul can be back for the finals. I mean, for the Western Conference Finals, if the Jazz Clippers series goes 7 games. It's been a team effort. They're a very well balanced team. They were my finals pick before the playoffs even started. Even before the regular season ended, I said they would go to the finals, and um, it still could happen. It's a possibility, but it's not 100% sure that they're going to the finals. But they're in the Western Conference Finals, and you know, they've just been playing great basketball.
Yeah, this Suns team, I don't know, they pass the ball around so well. And maybe because of Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, they're hitting the shots. DeAndre Ayton is shooting some crazy percentage, I think. I don't know. I think it's 70% from the field or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's something crazy. And then, of course, you got the superstar Devin Booker going crazy every night, and you got that veteran point guard in Chris Paul, just doing his thing. I was kind of surprised. I thought the Nuggets would keep it close. I thought it'd be a 6-game series and it being sweet. I was so surprised. I actually thought Jokic would win 1 or 2 games, but good series for the Sun. They get their rest, and there is some time in between for Chris Paul to somehow come out of protocols. It's going to be at least 1 or 2 games he's going to miss at the Western Conference Finals, regardless. Because the thing about COVID protocols is that once you're done with COVID, it takes 5 days because you have actual training that you have to go through. I'm pretty sure Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, all the big guys that went through COVID, that's what they had to go through. But it's going to be really interesting. I think the best case scenario for the Suns is to have the Clippers Jazz series go to 7. That way they get even more time for Chris Paul. However, I do not know if that is going to happen. It just depends on the health of Kawhi Leonard, which we'll get to later. But good for the Suns team, man. I felt so bad for Devin Booker last year, putting his heart out there on the floor, 8-0 in the bubble. Good for them, to push through and get to the Western Conference Finals. We'll see if Devin Booker can play that same intensity when the lights are brightest in big moments, which I think he can. But it's going to be an interesting series against regardless who they play, the Jazz or the Clippers. But it's going to be a tough test, but I expect a battle from the Phoenix Suns.
So apparently, I read something that came out today, and it said that for Chris Paul's case right now, since he's vaccinated, so the way that he can get out of this COVID thing is either if number one he gets 2 negative tests within the span of 48 hours, and then he'll be cleared. But then obviously you have the practice time, and then number 2 is a 10-day quarantine. So it's gonna be some time.
Yeah, but we've had cases of not exactly players, but we've heard cases of getting, players getting, well, not players, any random people getting COVID after getting their vaccination. And that's a normal thing to happen. It could happen. But you just won't get there's not a chance of getting hospitalized. So I expect Chris Paul to come back a little bit sooner than people expect. It may not be the 10 days, maybe a little less. But we will see. This is going to be a big watch for the next few days. And I was really surprised when I heard this. I was driving and I saw the notification on Twitter and I was like, oh, that's crazy. But it's going to be really interesting. This Suns team has done so well with Chris Paul at the helm, with him facilitating. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare. And if he does miss the first or second game of the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and then last thing before we move on, shout out to DeAndre Ayton again. I just looked it up. He is shooting 72% from the field in the playoffs.
Crazy number, bro. Like,
yeah.
Could you imagine? Okay, I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Darian was the one who said DeAndre Ayton was going to get exposed in that Lakers series. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He's averaging 15, 11, and a block to round up, and then shooting 72%. So he's taking a big jump, and he was my X factor for the Suns because I don't know what type of player we're going to get for him, but he's been playing really well so far.
I mean, the thing is that when he goes up against a non-athletic big, aka Jokic or Marc Gasol or Andre Drummond, who I don't consider to be athletic at all, he just dominates, just absolutely dominates because Chris Paul just put the big and pick and roll, and Ayton just runs to the rim and just wide open. DeAndre Ayton has been feasting. It is going to be interesting though, because if they play the Jazz, Rudy Gobert is going to be a factor in stopping DeAndre Ayton. It's going to be interesting what they do. But if they play the Clippers,
even if they play the Clippers are starting Marcus Morris at the 5. All right,
but so the thing is that the Clippers system kind of works though on defense.
They play very small. No, every time
small ball lineup kind of works for them because they have 5 wings who they can just switch. The only mismatch is Reggie Jackson.
But with Kawhi Leonard being out, I would probably expect like Terrence Mann to like replace him.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of hopeful that Kawhi Leonard's injury is not serious. And speaking of which, we can move to the topic. I guess.
We can talk about Kawhi Leonard. Apparently, he's out for Game 5 with the knee strain. His status is up in the air for the series. And then it came out that they feared that he might have had an ACL injury, which is a lot worse. And the play did not even look like an ACL tear. I don't know, because it didn't even come out until today. Like you would expect it to come out after the game. And it's been 2 days, and then now it's coming out that he might have torn his ACL, which is kind of weird to me.
It's really weird, yeah. I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see a single play at all where Kawhi may have,
No, there was a play. There was a play where I think he ran into Joe Ingles or something, and then he stumbled, but he stayed in the game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So
I don't know. It's going to be interesting for this Clippers team, because he has been the go-to guy. He is been carrying this team Game 3 and Game 4, and without Kawhi Leonard, I don't know if they stand a chance. Paul George, I don't know if he can. Well, okay, he's going to have to score, and regardless, he may average 30 for the rest of the series if Kawhi Leonard's out. But the main question is who's going to step up? Is it going to be Marcus Morris? Is it going to be Reggie Jackson? Is it going to be someone off the bench like Terrence Mann? Because they've got to find a way to get scoring and defense. And the loss of Kawhi Leonard is going to be major if they don't get him back. Because he is he's the engine that for the Clippers, because if he gets going, the rest of the team gets going, and they're going to need him big time. And as for the Jazz, they just got another break, man. If Kawhi played Game 5 and maybe Game 6, I think the Jazz were done. They were startled.
I think the Clippers would have won 4 in a row if he played both.
Yeah, I think they would have 4 because the Jazz were so startled at the start of Game 4 because Kawhi Leonard was tenacious on both ends of the floor. And now they have life. They're going back to Utah tonight. and it's going to be a big Game 5. I hope for Paul George's sake he has a good game because I do not want to see Pandemic Pete trending on Twitter again.
I think the Clippers can still win this series. I don't think it's like
I think so too. It's going to be interesting though, because I feel like they need Kawhi Leonard though, because he
they
was
do.
taking Donovan Mitchell out of the game. Donovan
They
Mitchell
do.
did not have a game 4 at all. Good game 4 at all.
But I think if you look at the statistics, I just saw something that Patrick Beverley held Donovan Mitchell to 2 for 10 shooting, 3 turnovers, and 4 block shots. So
Okay,
he could get that assignment too.
Here's the problem with Patrick Beverley. He's still running around. It doesn't matter. He's playing a guy around his same size. The thing with Patrick Beverley is you put him on a guy like Luka Doncic, LeBron James. Like, he's not guarding him. You saw what Luka Doncic did.
He won't, but
just torched him.
But like a guy that his size,
Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But the only thing about him is that he gets into foul trouble very easily.
He gets into foul trouble again. Pesky defender. He'll do whatever it takes. But I just don't know if they have enough horsepower. I'm waiting to see.
I want to see DeMarcus Cousins get some minutes now.
Yes, I want to see DeMarcus Cousins get minutes.
He's a wild card because I don't know how he can.
I feel like they still have to go small ball though. They have to go small ball. They cannot put a center in the game because Zubac is going to get murdered to start out the game.
No, I'm talking about off the bench because one of them, I think Terrence Mann is going to be in the starting lineup.
So, yeah, I think Terrence Mann is going to be starting lineup too. It's going to be interesting, but we will see. The status of Kawhi Leonard, probably one of the biggest stories in the NBA today. Literally, that story and the Chris Paul story, I did not expect at all. Like, I woke up this morning expecting to be a normal day, people talking about the KD game, and all of a sudden, bam, bam. But we will see. We will see how the Clippers hold tonight, especially in a critical Game 5 in Utah.
All right. Speaking of the KD game, let's go to the series, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn just won Game 5 last night. In a game where in the first half it was all Milwaukee, 15-point lead at the half, and then Brooklyn just came roaring back. I've watched Kevin Durant since 2009, and that was probably the best performance I've ever seen from him. The one that was close that happened recently, I think, was when he had 50 against the Clippers to close out the series when he was with the Warriors. But he just had an amazing game. And everyone can talk about 49 points, but the thing that was shocking to me, he did it in 23 shots. He shot 70% from the field. He played the full game. That's ridiculous. And it wasn't even him. It was him and Jeff Green. Jeff Green really stepped up as well. I don't think anyone expected Jeff Green to do what he did. And, in a game where Kyrie Irving, he's probably out for the series. James Harden might as well have not played that game because he didn't even look like himself. He was just another passenger out there. It was literally two guys against the Bucks, and they delivered. And I want to talk about the Bucks, but let's talk about the Nets first. What do you see from this Nets team? Well, I don't know. You didn't watch the game, but in the series in general.
I didn't get to watch the game last night, but I gotta just say one thing. If it takes a performance like that from Kevin Durant and Jeff Green to win a game by 4 points, I'm being very honest. I don't know if the Nets can win this series. I know Durant is crazy, but if it takes that kind of performance to win a game with James Harden being unhealthy, I just don't know if they have enough fiber. Do you really think Jeff Green is about to have another really good game like he did last night?
No, I don't. But I think that
exactly.
I don't think he will. But I think that Kevin Durant will. But I think you could see a game where all of a sudden Joe Harris comes to life.
Joe Harris has been absolute trash.
Yeah, but all it takes is one game where he gets some open looks.
One game. You're absolutely right. But just the thing is that Milwaukee's fire, they just choked last night. I didn't watch the game, but they just choked under pressure. And this is what one of my biggest takes of the day was. Mike Budenholzer should have been fired ASAP last night. Who in the goddamn world puts Chris Middleton and switches pick and rolls to let Pat Connaughton guard Kevin Durant? I mean, I was getting mad when Brad Stevens started throwing Romeo Langford on him, but when you throw Pat Connaughton on Kevin Durant and expect results, that's not happening.
It's not.
And
And yeah,
rightfully so got torched.
the
Rightfully
Bucks,
so.
the Bucks really frustrated me, man. And they bust the Heat's ass, and I almost believed in them again. I was like, okay, this team is actually like for real. But like the same shit that happened last year, where Mike Budenholzer, the adjustments were not great. The rotations, like I am so confused why PJ Tucker did not guard Kevin Durant more.
I know.
Why
That
was
makes no sense to me.
I was so confused why Giannis did not guard Kevin Durant. And this thing about Giannis, man. Mike Budenholzer, obviously, I think he's at fault. But Giannis, first of all, I don't care what series you're in. You cannot be like, oh, the guy we're playing against, he's the best player in the world. Like, you can't be praising him while you're down 3-2 in a series. You have to be like, no, this is my shit. Like, we're coming. Like that's not like that's a defeatist mentality. You're just going out and saying, oh, we can't do anything to stop him. He's the best player in the world. Like, you can't say that. And then number two, I don't care what Mike Budenholzer says. If that was, and I'm not a LeBron fan, but if that was LeBron and Eric Spoelstra was like, go guard Anthony Morrow instead of Kevin Durant in the 2012 Finals, LeBron would have said hell no. LeBron would have gone and guarded Kevin Durant no matter what the coach said, and it would have been any other superstar. So Giannis, I don't care what Mike Budenholzer says. He's not like a some elite coach that you're supposed to be. You can listen to him because he's your coach, but like, you can still guard Kevin Durant, man. You're the defensive player of the year twice, and instead of guarding Joe Harris in the corner, just go guard Kevin Durant for a possession. Because Pat Connaughton, I know he wasn't told to guard Kevin Durant, but he was doing it. So it just pissed me off why he was guarding Joe Harris in the corner and Bruce Brown, who's not an offensive threat at all. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, they kept switching. So like the initial assignment towards the end of the game was Chris Middleton, but they kept switching. The Nets offensive scheme last night was find the weakest defender on the court and switch him onto Kevin Durant and let him get to work. And that's just what happened last night. Now, I will say, I did watch some of the game early this morning. The Bucks had some offense going, and it happened with the Drew Holiday Giannis pick and roll. And they kept destroying Blake Griffin in it. They got to execute more down the stretch. It cannot
And
be. They
it was
got to
because they took out Blake Griffin in the
They took
fourth
out Blake
quarter.
Griffin, yep, and that's what happened. You have to attack Blake Griffin or Joe Harris, or you go and hobbled up James Harden.
James Harden, bro, come on.
I don't know, man.
He's on one leg.
He's on one leg. Mike Budenholzer frustrates me. This is annoying, man. You're tied. You have a chance to win. Two superstars for the Brooklyn team, the Nets, are literally hurt. One is hobbling on his hamstring on the court, and you can't find a way to win because you won't put Giannis or PJ Tucker on Kevin Durant. Like, I have no idea what is going on.
And
Tomorrow,
on the offensive end, before you go, Giannis, what are you doing taking fadeaway jump shots while James Harden is guarding you in the post?
exactly. I don't like Giannis. The thing is, he just runs and dunks, man. He just runs and dunks at times. Like, there's no skill in it at times. They've got to find a way to execute tomorrow. And if they don't, they're going home. And it's going to be a disappointing season. Giannis is going to be frustrated at why he signed his Supermax extension because his teammates cannot find a way to execute. And his coach is an absolute dog water piece of shit. Like, that's literally what's happening in Milwaukee right now. But to the Nets point, they got a shot, man. If they get Kyrie Irving back and James Harden can somewhat be healthy, they're coming out of the East. Nobody is stopping them. I don't think the Hawks would stand a chance. I don't think the Sixers would stand a chance at all. But we will see. Thursday is going to be one of the more pivotal games of the playoffs we'll ever see. It's going to be a big one.
All right, let's talk about the Hawks and Sixers because they're playing right now. The Sixers are whooping their ass. 14-point lead in the start of the second quarter. Joel Embiid with 17 points. But the series is currently tied 2-2. And the Sixers look like they might pull out the victory tonight. And I think that this series, it's probably been like the least watched series by me. I'm a big fan of this Hawks team as far as the roster construction, but I just don't think as far as talent that they can match the Sixers. It all came down to Joel Embiid. Like even like in Game 4, like it took Joel Embiid missing 12 shots. I mean, I think going 0 for 12 in the second half for the Hawks to win by like 2 points. So I mean, talent wise, the Sixers just have they have more talent for sure. The Hawks have competed though, and that's all you can ask them to do. Like I mean, they've given it their all in a lot of these games. Um, and yeah, I mean, nothing much for me to say about the series besides the fact that if Joel Embiid gets his health right, which is looking likely, you know, they'll be confident if they get out of the series of whoever comes out between Brooklyn and Milwaukee. I don't think they'll win, but they'll have confidence.
Yeah, the Sixers are blowing them out right now. I think it's gonna be a blowout. Joel Embiid has not missed a shot yet. He's 8 for 8. He's going crazy right now, and I don't think the Hawks can close this out. If it ends up going to Game 7, Joel Embiid will dominate, and the Sixers will end up winning. But I'm kind of happy the Hawks kind of pulled off a few games. I was tired of seeing the Trey slander a little bit, even though I've been part of it. That he couldn't win. I'm glad he came in. We went into Philadelphia and won a game. But overall, his team was solidly built, except the fact that they just don't have another superstar. I don't think John Collins is the star you want. Your second star.
And they have to make a decision on him in free agency because
They
he's
have to
just
make a
picked
decision on him in free agency. It's going to be interesting, but if they can somehow come back and I don't know, try and force a Game 7 later, it's going to be interesting. We'll see. This Hawks team is very nicely built, but this Sixer team, I want to get to Ben Simmons. It has come to the point where I think Ben Simmons is a walking piece of trash. I don't think I have never seen a talent misused so much more than Ben Simmons. Doc Rivers has put him in the dunker spot every single time down the floor of Game 4. I'm not watching Game 5 right now, but he is a offensive liability. I literally told everybody this. Literally back in 2018, I said this dude was a walking piece of trash because in the playoffs, when you need to make a shot, Ben Simmons cannot deliver for you. He cannot hit a free throw. He cannot hit a mid-range shot. He can't even get inside the paint at times because because he's just getting clogged up. And I think if the Sixers lose, they have to blow it. They have to at least trade Simmons. In fact, I would throw Simmons and a package of a few young players for Damian Lillard. They're the best team to do it, in fact. This Ben Simmons thing is just and the fact that people praise this dude for the gifts he has. He could be one of the greatest defenders ever. I will give him all the credit for that. However, he's one of the worst offensive players I have ever seen on the floor in playoffs. Like they are guarding him with John Collins, and he's just standing in the dunker spot watching Tobias Harris, Seth Curry come off the screens. He can't do anything. And people say this man is better than Jason Tatum. Like, are you kidding me right now? It's unbelievable. I think Ben Simmons, like when you get benched for the last 6 seconds of a game, like that's just telling you how trash you are. But like he's going to get truly exposed. He's already gotten exposed right now. Like the Brooklyn series or against Milwaukee, he's gonna lose his confidence, man. They're gonna put a big defender on him. He's gonna stand in the mid range, just sit around, not able to take a shot, and just lose his confidence. He's one of the worst offensive players I've seen this playoffs, and he can't even hit a free throw. He's like 30% from the line. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the free throw shooting is really what I'm bothered about. Everything else, I mean, yeah, that's cool, but if you can't hit free throws, then like I don't know what to say. Like same with Giannis, bro. Like you have
Yeah,
to be
same
better
thing
from
with
the
Ben.
line.
Yeah. But see, the thing
Um,
is, Giannis can get in the paint though. He has some sort of a mid-range game. Ben Simmons can't shoot a 15-footer. Like
he
Ben
can't.
Simmons doesn't even try to shoot a 15-footer.
And
I
I'm
think
tired of
Giannis
hearing
is
people saying
trying.
I'm tired of hearing people saying, "Oh, we're gonna see it next year," because we always hear that, and it
We
never
are, yeah, we
happens.
always hear it, and he's just okay. Again, practice Ben Simmons is so good. I've been seeing all these clips about how he's shooting threes during practice, but when it comes to the game, he does not do anything on the offensive end unless he sits at the top of the key. It's annoying, man.
Um, let's get to some news, some coaching changes. First of all, the one we did not talk about that happened before today was that the Pacers have fired Nate Bjorkgren. I mean, I thought this should have come a while ago. He was not great. I don't even know why they fired Nate McMillan. I watched them against the Heat, and he was the reason they were in the games. Their roster was not great, and I know we swept them, but it was like a very competitive sweep. And you see what Nate McMillan's doing right now. Um, yeah, and I mean Nate Bjorkgren, it was a good experiment, but obviously didn't work out. Who are they going to hire? Beats me. They're looking. They said they're looking at Steve Clifford from the Magic. I think he's a good coach. So I just think the Pacers have to go in a different direction, man. I just think they've been sitting in that 7, 8 seed for too long. They've just been sitting in that like in the middle of either making the playoffs or missing the playoffs. And like that's the worst spot for a team. You either want to be like close to the top of the conference where you're competing for a championship, or you want to be where, you're at the bottom of the conference uh getting lottery picks and getting assets out of college. So I just think they have to blow it up. I would be looking, whoever comes in to replace, I would be looking to just build around Sabonis, get rid of, Miles Turner and Sabonis. They haven't been, playing together well at all. So I would be getting rid of Miles Turner first of all, and then take calls on Malcolm Brogdon if I need to as well. This team just has to hit a full rebuild, and because I don't think, even fully healthy. I know they missed T.J. Warren this year, but even fully healthy, like that team was not doing shit. Like they were at best, they were a first round exit. So I just think they have to, because they're not even like a team that's on the rise like the Hawks, who have like a Trey Young, a cornerstone, like a John Collins, another young piece, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter. Like these guys are all young pieces. They don't have that, so they just have to go in a different direction. I just think they have to blow it up.
I completely agree with you. It's time to rebuild in Indiana again. Um, it's time to get rid of Miles Turner. It's time to get rid of Malcolm Brogdon. You got to rebuild around. It's time to get rid of Doug McDermott. It's time to build around Sabonis and Karis LeVert. You got a brilliant piece out of that Victor Oladipo swap, which was, I thought, one of the biggest finesses I've ever seen from a team. You finessed Karis LeVert from the Rockets, basically. Um, it, just you have to build around those two pieces. Karis LeVert is a very good player. He has superstar potential.
I
Still,
forgot about Karis. Yeah,
Karis LeVert is one of the best ISO players in the league. Like he can get his own shot, and he's the type of guy you need to build around. You need to say you're a number one option. Go. Miles Turner needs to get traded. This lineup of him and Sabonis clearly is not working. Trade Miles Turner elsewhere. I don't care where. As for a new head coach, I'm just going to say it out there. Do not be surprised if this team hires Becky Hammond at all.
yeah,
I
I
would
would be.
not. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Especially if they're rebuilding, taking a chance on like a young
Young,
coach.
yep, young coach. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Do not be surprised if Becky Hammond is the next head coach of the Indiana Pacers, or even someone like a Sam Cassell or Chauncey Billups. But I expect someone like a Becky Hammond to be the head coach of the Indiana Pacers. But this team needs to rebuild. I said it. I'm pretty sure I said it in November when we did all the recaps for all these teams, and y'all were looking at me like I was a fool. I said time to rebuild for the Indiana Pacers because nothing is going to work for this team. It's just time to rebuild.
Becky
And
Hammond is the favorite for the job.
yeah, Becky Ham is the favorite. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened at all. This team needs to rebuild and rebuild efficiently with those two corner pieces. You could probably easily get a few picks from Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner.
Easily, yeah.
Easily get a few picks. Even
I mean, they're talking about
Doug McDermott, I think you could get like a first round pick.
Yeah.
A guy like Justin Holiday, you could trade Aaron Holiday, who's sitting on your bench doing nothing. Edmund Sumner's young. Goga Badatsi's young. You know, they got some pieces, but it's time to rebuild in Indiana.
Indiana Pacers expected to look at Terry Stotts from Yahoo Sports.
If they hire Terry Stotts, oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good hire. But yeah, that's Indiana. I mean, bro, y'all can get call up the Heat and ask for Tyler Hero because I don't think it'll take that much to get him. You know,
you could trade Malcolm Brogdon for like Tyler Hero.
No, but like if like Brogdon, Turner, like I wouldn't like that. That wouldn't be too far fetched. Maybe like something else as well.
Brogdon and Turner for Hero.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Heat,
I don't think that's happening. You're not getting a 2-for-1.
No. But like it'll be obviously him and like someone else, like a Nunn or something like that. But
I'm gonna be honest. We can talk about the Heat for like a few minutes. Duncan Robinson, I think, is out the door. I don't know if y'all have.
He's not. We're definitely.
Okay, here's the problem.
I know he wants $20 million, but the Heat are giving him 20. They're letting Kendrick Nunn go.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to let Kendrick Nunn go. And even if you do have 20 million, that Victor Oladipo, what is Victor Oladipo gonna be doing? Like
he's the only one that I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I think Dragic, since he took 17 last year, I think he said he's taking a pay cut. So I think he's probably gonna stay for like a very small contract.
I did a little look. Goran Dragic has a $34 million team option.
Yes,
you guys can get rid of that. It's not after this season.
It's 17. It's 17. It's 17.
It's 17 this season, but it's 34 next season, I think.
So like for this season, so like we paid him last season. He made $17 million for like this season that's going on right now, and then he has an option to make 17 for next season as well. But we're gonna decline it, and we're probably either going to either get him do a sign and trade, or we're probably gonna get him back for very cheap. So,
I just want to also point out one thing. The Jimmy Butler news about the 4-year 190, I think it was. He's also eligible for a supermax, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a 181, I think. I think that's what they said.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, 4 years 181, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was 181. He is eligible for max, yeah.
Here's the problem with that. Okay, you might be paying like a 33 or 34-year-old Jimmy Butler a lot, but the problem with this is if you don't get another star to come to Miami right now, I've seen Hudson always talking about how Kawhi Leonard might come.
I legit think we're gonna be trading. I think Tyler Hero is gonna get traded for CJ McCollum or something like that. I think something like that's gonna happen.
It's Tyler Hero's time in Miami has to be done because he's getting so distracted off the court. And I don't think Miami's the best spot for him. In the bubble, he was really good because, solidarity. But he's got all these distractions around him.
I think he'll be good next year. I think he was in and out of the lineup a lot. He just didn't find a rhythm at all. But I think he'll be fine. I just don't think that he fits the timeline.
He does not. He clearly does not. But he needs to go. And the thing about Duncan Robinson is $20 million for a shooter. I see. Here's what I think you should do. You give him the Joe Harris type of money because 18. He's basically Joe Harris.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Joe Harris.
But the thing is about Robinson is he doesn't play defense. Well, maybe a little. Maybe
he's improved. He's improved this year.
He's improved. But he doesn't drive the ball like Joe Harris does.
Yeah, that's the only thing that.
He does not cut like Joe Harris does. So, and if Joe Harris is getting paid $17 million a year, like, do you really think Duncan Robinson is worth $20 million a year? I get it. He's a great shooter of the ball, but at times, like, he could be a lot. Like, he could get if a bigger dude switches on to Duncan Robinson, like, it's kind of
no. Yeah, you're right. But like, when he's on the floor, our offensive rating is like 20 points higher than when he's off the floor.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but like
even if he's not like making shots, even if he's not making shots, he's still a threat out there they have to respect. That's what I'm saying.
He's a threat, absolutely. But look at what he did this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, he didn't shoot the ball well. Yeah,
he did not shoot the ball well at all. And I think it just kind of got to him, with his free agency looming. But we will see. I think you're absolutely right. He stays in Miami, but I wouldn't be surprised if he left, though. I just wouldn't be surprised if he left. But I think he's going to sign in Miami.
Another coaching change. Stan Van Gundy fired from the Pelicans. This was another one that was probably coming for a while now. Another first-year coach with the team. This didn't work out. He had Lonzo playing as a catch and shoot guy, and I mean Lonzo's numbers, the 3-point shooting numbers, improved a lot, but that's just not his game. A lot of other shit, like the pace was really slow. He just didn't fit the team. So yeah, Stan Van Gundy fired. So I mean this team just needs a guy who can just take them to the next step. I think obviously like Terry Stotts and Steve Clifford I think would be good fits, because Terry Stotts and Steve Clifford have always been coaches that have gotten the team to the playoffs, but after that, like, it's a struggle. And this team just needs to get to the playoffs. So I think hiring those wouldn't be too bad. But Jason Kidd, I think, would be the ideal coach for this team, because assuming you keep Lonzo next year, Jason Kidd could help Lonzo's development a lot, because that was his comparison coming out of college and everything. I'm not saying he's going to become Jason Kidd, but like, you have a guy who like knows your play style really well, and like they've also like started to run Zion at like point forward. So like, I like Jason Kidd with this team long term.
Yeah, it's gonna be. First of all, I'm not surprised they fired Stan Van Gundy. It was kind of expected, in my eyes, because like the lineups he was running, with Steven Adams at center, clearly did not work. But you absolutely said it. Jason Kidd, again, another young coach. Becky Hammond, I wouldn't be surprised if went to the Pelicans. She's a hot commodity on the market for coaching. Even like Sam Cassell, who deserves a coaching job. Jason Kidd, you mentioned it. But we there are people that we haven't talked about that might get fired at the end of the postseason. Mike Budenholzer, even though he's a god-awful coach in the playoffs. Possibility if he gets fired during the offseason, which I fully expect to happen. It's going to be interesting. They need to find a coach that has experience with Zion, like Lonzo, developing Lonzo, or even developing Zion. Even though I think they're going to let Lonzo walk.
Yeah, I think they're going to let
Lonzo
walk.
is gone. I don't think Lonzo will stay.
Because they were trying to trade him, I'm pretty sure, at the deadline.
They were trying to trade him at the deadline. You know what? I would love for Lonzo Ball to be the next point guard of the Boston Celtics so badly. He would fit in so well with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, just facilitating them every single play. Because he's not a ball dominant threat. He loves to pass the ball, and clearly Kemba Walker didn't work out in Boston, which I guess we can shift.
So you say bye to Kemba?
Yeah, I'm done with Kemba. Look, bro, you missed 2 crucial games of the playoffs too. Like, come on now. Like, I think it was time he left. And there were reports that he wants out, even though he declined it. But I think Brad Stevens' first move this offseason is trading Kemba Walker. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
How about okay? Listen. I know you don't want to trade for this player, but I think it makes a lot of sense for your team. Okay, Kemba for Porzingis.
No, I don't have a problem trading for Porzingis. I have zero problem trading for Porzingis.
Because the thing about Porzingis, I literally just think he's in a bad situation. I think he's very talented player.
He's in a situation. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's not a ball dominant dude either.
A smart team would take advantage while his value is so low. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because if you think about Boston, what you could run is you could run a Smart, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, Robert Williams sort of lineup, and just have Porzingis play stretch 4, setting pick and rolls for Tatum and Brown. And you can post him up at times because he's 7'3". He's a unicorn. And you let him rehab during the offseason. You let him get affiliated with the coaching staff. And I think it works out. But I just don't know if it's going to happen, though, is the question. Now, for the Mavericks, Kemba Walker would fit in really well. I know Darian was talking about how Kemba Walker wouldn't fit at all. But Luka Doncic in that Game 7 was carrying the load. When Tim Hardaway Jr. couldn't make a shot, Luka Doncic had to do everything, and he was getting trapped. He was getting triple teamed. You need a guy on the court that can create his own shot, and that's Kemba Walker. Even though he's a little bit on the older side.
There's a trade that I found. So the Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis, Josh Richardson, and Jalen Brunson. The Mavericks get Kemba Walker, Tristan Thompson, Grant Williams, a 2021 first-round pick, and a 2022 second-round pick.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. However, I would love to just trade Josh Richardson straight out of the game. I don't think Josh Richardson's that good at all, to be honest. I like Jalen Brunson, though. Jalen Brunson's a really nice player. He could be a really solid point guard off the bench. But I kind of like Peyton Pritchard, though, already, though.
Yeah, what do you do with Pritchard? Yeah, that's the only thing. But, like, even if you trade for, like, Porzingis for Kemba straight up, you have a lineup, like, run Marcus Smart at the 1, Jalen Brown. Go big. Like, Tatum at the 3.
Yeah. I think you guys already talked about the Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge head coaching.
Yeah, we did.
Stuff. The thing is that I know I didn't get my opinion in is I would love to see a guy like Sam Cassell or Chauncey Billups play. I would just love to see a coach like that who can unlock Tatum and Brown's potential. And even because the thing is that Brad Stevens, I think, understands what sort of team he needs to build on. He's seen these two players play like together. He's seen Tatum and Brown develop. I think he understands what they want to do. He's going to build a nice team around them. It's going to be a pivotal offseason. I expect Kemba Walker to get traded. I expect players like Romeo Langford to take a leap. I expect Grant Williams to try and take a leap, even though he had a horrendous sophomore slump.
The only thing about like keeping it like in-house, like with Brad Stevens moving up, like I like it because he's familiar with everything, but also like there's a lot more like emotions attached to it because he's coached these players. So like if he really likes someone as like a not only like as a player but like as a person, then it might not be like he might not like want to let them go or like trade them or something like that. Whereas
let me ask you a question, Suas. Do you think Brad Stevens enjoyed playing Grant Williams on the floor?
Probably not, but
probably not.
It doesn't have to be just Grant Williams. I'm talking about like maybe like if Tristan Thompson like he built a really good relationship with him or like whoever else is on your team.
I understand what you're saying at like an emotional point of view, but I feel like that's not going to play too much of a factor. I think Brad understands what he needs to do with his team. Clearly, I don't think he liked having Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice run the floor, even though he was forced to do it early on when they used to run the two big lineup. I think Tristan might stay or he might get shipped. I don't know. We will see. Robert Williams, I think, will take a big step this offseason. He's going to be the starting center for sure for this team. And I think I believe in Brad Stevens to somehow fix this team. We will see. This team's future is very much in the hands of, like, it's very much in doubt. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Would you trade Jaylen Brown in a trade for Damian Lillard? Well, not just Jaylen Brown, but like,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. Damian Lillard's what, 31? And you're trading a 24-year-old for a 30. It really doesn't. I get it. It's a win now move, but it just doesn't make sense. Then that means you're gonna have to ship Kemba Walker out the door.
You would, but like that's potentially like you have like a lot. Okay, let's say you trade Jaylen Brown, whoever else your young talent like Jaylen Brown, Romeo Langford, like a bunch of other people like that, like young people have like Peyton Pritchard, something like that for Dame. So like Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Romeo Langford are out the door. Okay, you still have Dame, you trade Kemba. Let's say you trade Kemba for Porzingis. Dame, Smart, Tatum, Porzingis, and Robert Williams is a really good lineup.
That you're absolutely right, but there's no depth though. Like, look at that depth. The thing that
There
haunted the
isn't.
Celtics this
There
year
isn't. Yeah.
is the depth issue because Tatum and Brown hesitated every time they drove to the rim to get shots up. We can move on to the next topic, by the way.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, in the playoffs, the rotations get shortened anyway. So I think you just need like one or two more players to like fill in the roster who be competent. But I mean, I wouldn't mind that. But the next thing we're going to be talking about, the last coach that we did not talk about being fired, is Scott Brooks. Last but not least, from the Washington Wizards. This one was like the most dead on one. Like this one, like I could predict from like a mile away. Like he was terrible. And the Wizards, I think, are actually like a very similar position to the Pacers. They have like two like stars, but like their team isn't really going anywhere. Like I don't see how much better this team can get right now with their roster. Like realistically, they're a first round exit again next year. Like I don't see what's going on. I think Bradley Beal might want to be there, but for like your team's sake, him and Westbrook might have to be traded, and you might have to like completely like you know clean house, get some young talent, get some like because they're Bradley Beal is worth a lot. Russell Westbrook, he's old, but like a contending team like would not mind Russell Westbrook on their roster. And I just think they have to clean house like the Pacers. I think they're in a very similar situation to the Pacers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I I was kind of expecting this one as well. Scott Brooks is one of the worst defensive coaches I've seen in my entire life. Um, when you decide to put Ish Smith and allow switches, the playing game, Jason Tatum destroyed them because they allowed switches of Ish Smith, Bradley Beal to guard him, and they were getting torched. He's one of the worst defensive coaches I've seen in a while, and you're absolutely right. It's time for a rebuild in Washington. It's time to go full Oklahoma City Thunder. Trade everything you can for picks, except for young players like Rui Hachimura and Denny Avdia. It's time to trade Davis Bertans, who can't hit the side of the backboard
They
sometimes.
paid him. They paid him $80 million too.
$80 million. It's time to trade Davis Bertans. It's time to trade Russell Westbrook. Get as many picks as you want. It's time to trade Bradley Beal, even though he wants to stay, because at this point, you're going to be doing nothing anyway. You're going to be sitting as an 8th seed, and that's something you don't want to do as a franchise. And it's time to trade Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Get as many picks as you can because you're going to be building around Rui Hachimura. He has Kawhi Leonard type potential. I've said that for a while.
Yeah,
Danny Avdia is one of my favorite players coming out of this draft.
Rui Hachimura, I think, will be a star. Rui Hachimura has been my
I think
favorite
so.
player coming out of college in that draft. I was so high on him, and I'm still am. So
Yeah, I expect a full development. Even Thomas Bryant coming back. He's a very young center. This team has a lot of potential, but it is time to rebuild in Washington. I know Russell Westbrook. He's going to be worth it. Okay, Boston again comes up in talks. Could be another situation, but I think a team like the Clippers.
I think
I
they would
don't
ask
know.
for. I think they would ask for Jaylen Brown.
For Russell Westbrook, you
I
think?
think. I mean, I don't know like who else they would
Maybe
ask for.
Kemba Walker, to be honest, and then you just
But
change the
like
money thing.
Kemba Walker, like puts him in the same situation. Like
Yeah, you're right, but the Wizards. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, this team needs to rebuild.
I think that's it for like the coaching changes and the news that came out today. Now we got to talk about the All NBA teams, the All Defensive teams, NBA awards because a lot of them got released. Start off with Rudy Gobert winning Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, joining a historic club of I'm pretty sure Ben Wallace and two other players. I forgot who they were, and yeah, he won the award. And I think he was deserving of it. I think his defensive statistics were off the charts. Like He led like every defensive stat, like it was crazy, and their team was like a very good defensive team as well. So, I mean, I think it was fully deserved, but I wouldn't have been mad if Ben won it either.
Yeah, I thought Ben Simmons. I wanted Ben Simmons to win it because I thought he played much better defense than I gave him credit for. But Rudy Gobert deserved it, 100%. Good for him. Nothing much else to say. He completely deserved the award. And I guess we can just shift to all defensive team, right? Because we're on the topic of defense.
Yeah. Let's do all defensive. So all defensive team, I'll read them out. First team, okay. First team, Giannis. Or why is this in? Okay, this order is really weird. Okay, yeah. Ben Simmons, Drew Holiday, Giannis, Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert. Second team, Matisse Thybulle, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Bam Adebayo, Joel Embiid. Are the
Here's
two
the
defense.
problem. Here's the problem I have a problem with Joel Embiid making second team. I
I
don't
have a
think
problem
Joel
with.
Embiid. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with oh yeah, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard didn't play as good of a defense this year.
He didn't. Yeah, I think. Okay, I honestly think Mikal Bridges, I
Yeah,
think could have been over Kawhi Leonard.
agree.
Miles Turner,
Turner
I think could have been over
absolutely
Joel
snubbed.
Embiid. Yeah,
Dude
Miles.
averaged 4 blocks a game.
If I'm looking at the other players, for guards, Mikal Bridges led the votes with 39. He did not make it. The guards who made it were Matisse and Jimmy, and Matisse had 63. He was the lowest guard.
Yeah,
Marcus Smart with 22. Lou Dort with 17, and then for forwards and centers, you have Clint Capella, Nerlens Noel. Clint Capella was number one. Miles Turner was number two. Nerlens Noel was number three, and then you have Julius Randle, OG Anunoby. So
yeah. No, I don't think Joel Embiid deserved it at all. And I don't even know how Kawhi Leonard even made. Like again, this is just media bias because some media members don't really watch the entire regular season. They just put their vote out there. So, but the first team I completely agree with. First team is completely accurate. I don't see any problems with the first team. Draymond Green absolutely deserved to be on first team. Second team, I do have a problem with. Matisse Thybulle, Jimmy Butler's fine with me. Even Bam is fine with me. I have a problem with Kawhi and Embiid, and that's it. But other than that, good for everybody who made the teams.
okay, next award. Well, we don't have to talk about this one. Jordan Clarkson won Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah, we knew that one.
Yeah, we knew that one.
And
Jokic won
MVP. We knew,
Jokic.
we knew Randall was going to win MIP. Coach of the
Tom.
year.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah,
Thibodeau, Coach of the Year. I mean,
I
I
was
didn't
kind
pick
of
him.
that was kind of surprising in my mind. I thought Monty Williams was going to win it,
I had
but
Monty Williams as well, and even Quinn
they gave
Snyder was
me
the one seed too. So
yeah. But he did completely turn the Knicks around. Like
he did.
we had the Knicks as the 15th seed during our predictions.
We
Um,
they were
yeah,
they, and then Lamelo just won Rookie of the Year, and
yeah,
I had Anthony Edwards, but I mean I wasn't like I'm mad because Lamelo. It was between them two for sure. So like if either one won, it wouldn't really mean shit to me because it's between them two. Third place was Tyrese Halliburton. Fourth place was Sadiq Bey. Uh, but yeah, I mean, great award. I mean, I think the thing that I put Edwards over Lamelo for was the missed games, but um, when he was on the floor, like in that first half of the season, he ran away with it. So it was pretty. It wasn't surprising for me that he won the award.
yeah. I guess all the awards are pretty much straightforward. I guess like we all
Yeah,
knew some
all
ideas. So it was the All NBA
all
team.
NBA teams, all
Yeah,
NBA teams. Um, okay, so first team: Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, and Jokic. Second team: um, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Julius Randle, Joel Embiid. Third team: Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Rudy Gobert. And other players that received votes for forwards: Jason Tatum with 69, 69 votes. The next the forward that had the least votes on the team was Paul George with 89. Zion Williamson with 37. Kevin Durant with 23. For guards, Russell Westbrook with 44. James Harden with 41. Donovan Mitchell with 26. For centers, Bam Adebayo with 32, and then everyone else had like 6 and 5 or some shit. So those were the teams. I mean, off top, I think Jason Tatum should have made it over Paul George. I think I had Jason Tatum on the second team, so the fact that he didn't make it at all was kind of surprising to me. I didn't have LeBron, but that was probably stupid of me. 'Cause I think at the time he was still injured, so I didn't put him on the thing. But he probably is an All NBA player. I had Harden over Irving, but I wouldn't really mind if you put Irving on there. I had Bam over Gobert, but because I think he had a better regular season. But Gobert did win Defensive Player of the Year, so I guess you do have to take that into account. Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell not making it was surprising, but the guards were pretty stacked. I'm not taking Kyrie or Beal off because they had great seasons as well, but I think it was probably Tatum was probably the biggest one, and I think he should have made it for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of frustrated because Jason Tatum had probably one of the best seasons I've seen him play, especially towards that end, where he was dropping 30 plus a night. He was dropping 50-point games, 40-point games, just having crazy stat lines. I'm just really surprised though that the media really picked Paul George, who in a dude who played 40 games, LeBron James, made it over Jason Tatum. I thought Jason Tatum was a lock. He played 63 games, averaged 26 points a game, 7 boards, 4 assists, a steal, and a block a night, I think, or half a block. I'm not sure. And I get it. His team is the 7th seed, but then the case for Bradley Beal is what? Like, it doesn't make sense. In my mind, I don't know why he didn't make it, but you know what? In the end, if you're a Celtics team manager and you're in the financial department, it's kind of a good idea because now you save $32 million over the next 5 years by not paying Jason Tatum his bonus. Guess it kind of saves some cap, but it just kind of sucks, man. Like, I thought Tatum had such a good year. Like, I get it. I had Julius Randle on second team. But LeBron was just kind of stunning. LeBron didn't even play that many regular season games to end. He played like 40 total.
He did.
He played 40 games. Like,
if you
that's
put LeBron on there. I was just saying, if you put LeBron on there when he played 40, how the hell is James Harden not on there? Because I'm pretty
how
sure.
Is James Harden? Yeah, that's my question. James Harden didn't make it.
So I didn't have Bam. I forgot. I said Bam. I had Rudy Gobert on second team, and I'm pretty sure I had Julius Randle as a center on third team with Zion Williamson.
Okay. Here's one thing.
You did.
I told you guys they were gonna have Embiid as a second team center. I literally told you guys,
which is weird because they didn't do that for the other years. But I guess you were right on that.
Yeah.
But Zion Williamson didn't make it either, and he had a great season.
He had a great season, but it was just kind of.
I mean, if you're talking about his team's record, Bradley Beal made it too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man.
So I just wish that for all NBA teams and all stars, obviously like people are gonna get snubbed, like we all know that. But like, there's no criteria. Like no one's like we're not told like anything like, oh, we base it off of this.
It's basically off of media votes and their teams. I'm sorry, their media members who are biased towards their, like Derrick Rose got an MVP vote. Like what?
Yeah, no, but like, I know it's voted by media members, but what's their criteria? Like, what are you looking at?
That's my question. Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's the only thing that I'm wondering. Mike Conley is out for Game 5 apparently. I did not know that. But
I mean, we'll see. Game 5 is gonna be tough for Clippers, but we will see it tonight. I don't think there's anything else to say. I don't think there's anything else to say about all NBA teams.
Yeah, that should be it for all NBA teams.
I didn't get to talk about Booker or Mitchell. Booker, see, yeah, the guards. Should Chris Paul really have made second team though?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Okay, listen. I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but I think Chris Paul has been massively overrated by a lot of people. Like some people are, I'm seeing putting him as a top 3 point guard of all time. Like, and
Yeah,
Chris Paul,
no, slow down. Yeah,
yeah, like okay, like Chris Paul's a great player, like obviously.
yeah, he's a great
Um,
player. Nobody's saying
and
that.
I just don't think like if you're talking about point guards of all time, I'm taking Stephen Curry, I'm taking Magic Johnson, I'm taking Isaiah Thomas,
Isaiah
Oscar
Thomas, yeah,
Robertson, John
those are my
Stockton.
answers.
I'm even
Yeah,
taking Russell Westbrook over Chris
yes,
Paul
I'm
right now.
absolutely taking Russell Westbrook over Chris Paul. You're absolutely right. Yeah,
So until he wins a championship, I don't say I can put Chris Paul there. And I know like we've had this discussion before. I don't think Chris Paul was like the savior for this team. Obviously, he made them better, but this team was damn good without him. Like in the playoffs,
yeah,
they went 8-0. DeAndre Ayton missed 25 games last season due to suspension, and they barely missed the playoffs. I
yeah.
think they would have made it with him playing. So I don't think he should have made second team. I would probably would have given it to Harden or Irving.
What I would have done is I would have given Paul third team. I wouldn't be like I'm pretty sure I had Chris Paul in one of my teams.
I had
Uh,
Chris Paul on third team. I had Chris Paul on
hold on,
third
hold
team.
on. I can pull up my predictions because I actually want to look at this now. Give me a second if I can
Yeah,
find it.
I had Chris Paul on my third team if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah, here we
yeah,
go. Here we go. So here was my teams. For my third team, I had Paul Irving. I had Jimmy Butler, LeBron, Rudy Gobert. I actually had Paul George as a guard, not a forward, which is really
I
weird. I,
yeah,
I had George Lillard, Tatum, Randall, and Embiid as a second team. Curry, Doncic, Akumpo, Leonard, Jokic, first team. Yeah. Who am I missing off of my team? Beal. I'm missing Beal.
I
That's who
had
I'm
Beal,
missing.
I had Paul, Beal, Butler, Zion, Randall, Lillard, Irving slash Harden. That was when I didn't know who to put between the two. Leonard, Tatum, Gobert, and then I had I had Curry, Doncic, Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic.
Yeah.
But obviously they put Embiid on the second team. They put Leonard on first team. They moved Jokic. They moved Gobert to third team, and they put
Yeah.
Randall on second team. So I think the only player that I didn't have, I think I had everyone. I didn't have LeBron, and I had Zion instead because LeBron at the time I'm pretty sure was still injured. So
I had him third team, but second team is a little bit too high. See, that's a little media bias coming in, but
LeBron and Paul George are the two players I didn't have.
yeah. I had Paul George second team, but I had him as a guard though. Like, why do they? Okay, Paul George plays guard on the LA Clippers. When they run this lineup of Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Morris, or maybe Zubats, it doesn't matter. Paul George is playing the guard position. He's not playing forward.
He
Like,
is.
no, he's not. He's playing shooting guard.
No. I'm saying he is playing guard.
Yeah, it's what annoys me. Like, why do you classify him as a forward? Like, anyways,
Yeah,
but yeah, those are
it's
all the
very weird.
NBA awards. I think we got through everything, didn't we?
Yeah, we got through everything. We did coaching. We did playoff talk. We did awards. So I think that should be it for this episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below as always. And yeah, we'll see y'all later as always. Peace.